welcome to Oh Yes It Is, the show where I take my mates from the world of entertainment and ask them questions about their life, how they got started, where they're going, and all stuff like that. Today I have a really good friend of mine, a great panto dame, one of my favourites. It's Mr. Sam Rabone. How you doing, mate?
I'm very good, thank you. What a lovely introduction.
You're very welcome. Yeah, I'll take the money from you later.
Mm. Well, I meant the first bit. It's like you practiced that little intro before.
I've been doing this for a while now, so I know what to say. No, but thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really appreciate you spending some of your time. Now, I know you as a great actor, great panto dame, but for you, where did it all start?
Well, it's a good question and one that has been told a few times. I actually didn't think I was ever going to be in the entertainment business. I stopped doing drama or anything sort of drama related in year nine at school. Um, but then I sort of fell back into the performing arts by doing the lights and the sounds for some of the school shows. So I got into the creative arts that way. So I wasn't studying it, but I was helping, and by helping, I ended up getting involved in the summer shows. I ended up helping with a production of Grease, where I got trained by Tracy Cattell, who's the only doctor of stage management in the country now. She taught us how to do stage management. I really enjoyed that, and that's what I thought I was going to do. I thought I was going to be a stage manager, um, and I joined a local Amdram company as stage management, and they were like, "Oh, you're going to go on stage next year." I was like, I won't go on stage next year. I just enjoyed being backstage." They said, "No, no, you're going on stage next year," and I said, I don't want to. I just didn't want to. They said, we don't have enough men. I said, okay. Well, how about I stage manage and do like a small part? So I did, and I loved it. And then I got suggested that I went to audition for Pontins. So I auditioned for Pontins, Brannigan's on Broad Street, which doesn't exist anymore. I think you could still smoke in buildings at the time. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. Carpets were still sticky. They hadn't put the heating on. I couldn't fill in the form because it was that cold in there. I had to go and explain that the form was probably illegible because it was so cold. A giant crocodile came out and danced to Elton John's Crocodile Rock.
Of course.
Um, and then they offered me the job in Blackpool, and I was like, I don't really know what's happened, but I took the job and I went to Blackpool and I spent a year in Blackpool. Um, I probably learned more in that year than I have in many, many years of doing this job. But after Blackpool, I came back and I ended up becoming a nightclub DJ for 2 years. I then went back to
Wow.
Pontins and became an entertainment manager again. Well, not again, I became an assistant entertainment manager. But back at Pontins Blackpool, but I also took on the role of family compere, and then I came back and started DJing again, and then I got my first acting job in Panto for a company called Pantone. A guy called David Lee gave me my first acting panto job as panto dame down in Yeovil, which was then taken over by Evolution anyway. So I went down to Yeovil, and I spent a Christmas there. I went back to DJing. And I thought I can't do this anymore, and I got a job at Alton Towers. And from then on, I've sort of worked as a jobbing actor, basing my year around Panto, and then picking jobs up throughout the rest of the year, depending on what happens. But so far, touch wood, I've managed to keep my years fairly full. And Panto is sort of that big bit in the middle that keeps me busy.
So that first job at was it Pontins you said? What was that?
Pontins, yeah,
What was that
Pontins
like the
Blackpool.
first day?
I arrived on the second day of the Blue Coat Academy. I couldn't go up for the first day for some reason, and it was the most overwhelming thing walking into the lunch hall, and there was, I think, probably over 100 blue coats in there, all in the uniform, and they'd all started to already bond, and I was like, "What have I walked into here?"
Yeah.
But then we had our first night out. We had a drink. I enjoyed it, and I stayed and had the best year learning from the best people.
Oh, nice, nice. Now, over the years, whether it be a Pontins or a Panto, when's it ever gone wrong for you?
Meeting you,
Oh, thank you.
it's right.
I love you too.
Um, when's it gone wrong? Oh, I mean, well, I sort of don't see things going wrong as a disadvantage, like in Panther when it goes wrong. For me, it's it's great. It's a perfect thing to happen. And I love it when it goes wrong because it's different. The audience get to see
Yeah.
something they'll never normally see. Um, uh, I'm trying to think of something that's actually gone properly wrong. The biggest thing I ever think that's gone wrong that I managed to fill for, well, two things. The first one was I fell through a stage in Dubai. The steps weren't very well made,
Oh shit.
and I went through and I really did my ankle in quite badly. But because of that, they looked after me, and I ended up managing to go back to work. I mean, I sort of see that as not going wrong. That was just an accident.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
something going wrong for me to enjoy would be actually when I was working with you and Dan, our prince forgot to come on.
Oh
I
yeah, I
don't know whether you
forgot
remember that.
that bit.
He forgot that he had a second scene to do in Act One and went up to the dressing room and started to change. Me and George Akid with Lindsay, our queen, were on stage and we introduced the prince. He didn't come on. So I went backstage and looked for him, and he wasn't there. So then I introduced George as the prince. It didn't work. George introduced me as the prince. It didn't work. We got our boyfriend up out the audience, and he then milked it. And then Dan finally arrived. But at that point, I was thinking, I've got nothing left up my sleeve here. If Dan doesn't arrive now, I mean, he's either fallen
Yeah.
down, or he's ill. We're gonna have to have a show stop. But he arrived just at the right point. Thank goodness.
I'd forgotten about that actually, because obviously we
Oh,
would
it
have been
lives rent free in my mind, that story.
obviously we were listening in the dressing room going, something's happened here. Something's not right.
Yeah, and
Oh
thanks for
yeah.
coming to help. You didn't come and help, did you? You just stayed in your dressing room and did
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, yeah. We're probably still starting to get changed. 'Cause obviously we're
Well,
not on
that's
for
not the
40
point, is it?
minutes.
I mean, we were floundering and you just sat there.
Yeah, very much. Enjoying it. Yeah.
Mm.
If it'd been the other way around, you wouldn't have helped us.
No, but that's not the
No.
point.
That's exactly the point.
Mm.
So, over all the years and all the jobs that you've done, what's been one of the best gigs that you've done or best jobs you've had?
Panto, I mean, I love Panto. It's the
Yeah.
one job I literally wipe the rest of the year off for. I know that that's there. That's what I'm waiting for. So yeah, I would say Panto is probably my best and my favorite job, and I couldn't single out one in particular, obviously, other than the one with you, because they're all so special. They're all so
Yeah. Oh,
different.
yeah.
And you meet great people on them, great friends. You have such a good Christmas. You do literally, you can't do it unless you enjoy it. You're doing two shows a day,
Oh, no.
sometimes three shows a day. It's 2.5 hours. It's a mental job. And if
Oh,
you
it's
don't
mental.
enjoy it, I think it shows. It is very
Yeah.
painful if you don't enjoy it. And I think the audience feel that as well. So
Yeah.
for me, Panto is the best job. Um, Randomly, the other best job I think I've ever had isn't in entertainment at all. Um, I worked at a steak restaurant in Australia when I took a year off,
Nice.
and I just loved it. It was a place on the Sunshine Coast. It was by the sea. It was on the dock, and the other side you had the beach one side, and on the other side you had the dock with all the boats. And one of the boats there
Oh,
was
wow.
Whale One. Whale One is the boat that Steve Irwin was last alive on. He dived
Oh,
in
wow.
from Whale One, and that was docked just outside where I worked. And it was an American style steak restaurant in Australia, and we were the only two. Me and my brother were there. We were the only two Brits there. So I think I've been recognised more through doing that job living in Australia than I have in my whole career of being a Dane.
I love that. Oh, was that after Steve had died, so everyone knew the
Yeah,
boat.
yeah, Steve. So there was a plaque on the boat that said, "This is the last place Steve Irwin stood alive."
Yeah.
So we were 20 minutes, if that, from Australia
Wow.
Zoo.
Yeah.
Bindi used to eat in the restaurant. I don't think Robert was that old at the time, but yeah, we it was right in Australia Zoo territory.
Oh, I can just imagine how mental that was.
Mm.
Yeah. But like when you started at Pontins and were doing the stage stuff, who were your inspirations? And have they changed as you got more into panto, more into damehood, or have they like kept the same?
I mean, I always loved seeing Dame Edna. I found Dame Edna was such a great character to watch. So quick, effortlessly funny, and what that character should be. There was no question as to what Dame Edna was. It was
Yeah.
just a character. I found Lily Savage a perfect, like a great comedy character, but not. it's slightly different to Dame Edna's a female character, whereas Lily
Yeah.
Savage is a drag queen. And I think Barry Humphries created such a perfect character of somebody you could incorporate your grandma with.
Oh
And
yeah.
I sort of see my grandma as uh, Dame Edna-esque, but also Hyacinth Bouquet. I mean, Hyacinth Bouquet was just such a wonderful
Oh yeah.
character. And again, sometimes I thought my grandma had taken on like being watched by Hyacinth because there was so many things that she did which were perfectly Hyacinth. Um, all the cast of Dinner Ladies were
Oh yeah.
amazing.
Oh,
Julie
great
Walters
show.
is a Brummy icon. Dawn French. I think I like the big powerhouse female comedians by the sound of it. Um, but I loved Tim Vine with his
Oh
one-liners.
yeah.
Eddie Izzard in his older stand-up days was so surreal. It was like the first time I've seen anything where it was just scatty like that. And I mean, when I was growing up, I suppose I loved Joe Pasquale. It's just daft humor,
Oh, he's,
and
he's
I
super.
love
I love
daft
him.
humor.
Yeah, oh no, Joe is so funny. And he's a lovely bloke as well. Just gonna name
Mm.
drop that. I met him a few times. He's a yeah, lovely, amazing person. But yeah, no, and like what you're saying about Dame Edna. Dame Edna's more like family friendly, where Lily Savage is like, I'll watch her on my own, no kids, no grandparents.
Mm.
Yeah, two very different acts. I love it. But for acting and for the stage and for theatre, where does your love come from for it? Do you reckon?
I don't think I think because I fell into it. I wasn't sort of brought up thinking that I was going to do it. I wasn't looking to do it. I wasn't sort of watching people and thinking, oh, I want to do that. Weirdly, as I know so many people do grow up thinking that, I didn't. And I literally fell into it. I
Yeah,
fell into it because they didn't have enough men. Somebody said go to Pontins, and I went to Pontins, and it sort of just spiraled there. But at Pontins, we had a compere there called Ian. Ian the goat, his name was, and he he was our full-time compere. So my first year, I didn't compare at all. He was the full-time host, and I watched him every night work that room, and I understood from watching him how he did it, and it doesn't work the same anymore. Like you go in, a different person will be hosting every night, whereas he would start on the Monday, and by the Thursday or the Friday, he had them in his hand and was able to do whatever he wanted because they
yeah,
knew they were safe with him. And I sort of watched that, and that's what I watched and wanted. Goes, and I get what he's doing now. I love that. And then the cabaret circuit. I mean, I do that now with George. Me and George have got a comedy duo called Cobs and Teacakes, and I suppose I looked to like the Harper brothers. There was a group called Powers and Jones, well, comedians called Powers and Jones, and those just funny men coming in and just being genuinely funny. And I sort of watched them and when I think I'd want to do that one day. So I did, and I'm doing it now.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. And for you, why is live entertainment so important? Whether it be Panto or Pontins or the tour that you're doing at the minute with George A. Kidd, why is it so important? Do you think?
Because instant laughter, instant feedback, families enjoying themselves together, people getting out of the house and seeing things. And it's not perfect. TV and film is perfect. It's filmed, it's refilmed, it's re-edited. Live stuff isn't perfect. We do our best to make it as good as we can or as
Yeah,
perfect as we can, but it's the joy of things going wrong. As we've said, what's the best thing that's gone wrong? Anything can go wrong, and that's the fun of it. And I think we've got to keep it live. We've got to keep people coming out and enjoying themselves, people entertained, whether it's on the street, with street entertainers, in social clubs, in holiday parks, in theatres. People still need to come out and enjoy themselves. I mean, there's so
absolutely.
much now being taken over by the entertainment systems where you just play a quiz on a screen or the bingo's called from a random person. I think people don't call bingo anymore. I think it's quite sad because I had such a
Yeah.
good time. I hate bingo, but I loved calling it.
You just like the nicknames for the numbers.
Well, we weren't allowed to do that. Oh, sorry, I thought you had a blackhead on your nose on your logo, but it was a mark on my screen.
Yeah, it's a perfect logo. Thank you very
Mm.
much. It's your
It is
computer.
it is very good, but you was a little black spot on the end of the ears. I thought, why have they left a blackhead? But they haven't. So
Well,
I
my mate
scratched it
Alex,
off.
my mate Alex has made this logo for me. Said I look like Gary Delaney.
Yeah, but he's funny.
Yeah, it's true. You know,
Hmm.
every time I said that to someone they've said the exact same thing. Like, thanks.
Well, I think maybe you need to go away and think about these answers
I
and
was chatting to
reconsider a few things.
I was chatting to Bob Golden last week, and he said the exact same. He went, "Yeah, but Gary's funny."
Oh, I also think I've probably been around Bob Golding for too long if we're saying the same things.
It's dangerous being around Bob Golden for too long.
Hmm. No, no, it's a joy to be around Bob Golding for too
Yeah,
long.
oh, he's a lovely. Yeah, he's lovely. But it's the end. Now, out of all the places you've performed and gigged in, do you have a dream venue that you want to do, or like a dream show that you'd love to be in?
Oh, I mean, if we're not talking panto, I'd love to play Edna in Hairspray one day, but that'd be a bit
Oh,
weird
you'd be
and mental for
great.
me. That would be, I struggle with the singing. Um, I just, yeah, I mean, that would be great.
Yeah,
I sort of I don't really know other than that because I'm happy doing what I do. I mean, I just love being able to travel and tour. So anywhere that wants me, I've worked in
yeah,
Dubai and Sweden. I'd love to travel more of the world doing this job because there's some great places and people, people wouldn't get panto. They would, if done right, people would get it anywhere we went with it. So I'd just like to go around and do it a bit more and spread this panto joy.
yeah. Like I love how British panto is. I've tried describing it to a few Americans. Like when I was in Edinburgh doing the Fringe, describing it to them, and the look on their face is like, "What?" Like, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a fat bloke in a dress who no one batted an eyelid to. Seven dwarfs are living in a forest. Main character dies halfway through. At the end, we go, "Merry Christmas, kids," and you all go home.
It's perfect.
Yeah, they're looking at me going, "What?" Good, yeah, pretty much panto. That is, yeah, yeah. So, but there's not like one venue or one city that you go, I'd love to
I
perform
mean,
there, do a show
I
there.
suppose if I ever got the chance to do panto at the Birmingham Hippodrome, I would love it. But at the moment, Paul Hendy and Evolution don't have that, so
No, not yet.
I'll go with other places. But that would just to play. Although Lichfield, when I was at Lichfield, was sort of my home theatre. I'm from Sutton Coldfield, so I live
Yeah,
between Birmingham and Lichfield. They're both about 8 miles away. But Birmingham Hippodrome was the one we used to go to when I was growing up. It's the biggest one in the
yeah,
area, close to being one of the biggest in the country. But I suppose Birmingham Hippodrome would be my dream. If yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
yeah. Birmingham. I did panto in Birmingham just before COVID, actually. And beautiful theatre, and it's mental going. I'm performing not in the same venue as so many legends and
Mm.
so many people have had. That is mind-boggling. But yeah, no, Lichfield, the Garrick in Lichfield is another beautiful theatre. One of my favourites I've ever performed in. People get a chance to go and watch a show that absolutely do it. But now going back to like when you first started, or when you were a kid growing up, or when you first started, if you can go back then and give yourself one bit of advice, what would it be?
Probably should have stuck with doing drama. I might be better at acting now if I'd stuck with it, but I've like I've
You might
never
have
done
done
anything
Birmingham.
since. You know,
You might have done Birmingham if you'd stuck with it.
I could have done Birmingham if I'd stuck with it. I might be doing the Globe. I might be doing Shakespeare. Who knows? I've done Shakespeare. But yeah, I'll probably stick with drama, Sam.
Now, what's next for you? You mentioned briefly you've got a show with Minute with George A. Kidd. So, do you want to tell us a bit more about it? Have you got any more of those dates coming up?
Yeah, so we've got a quiet Easter, and there's a couple of reasons why. The first reason is I'm now meant to be in Dubai, but because of situations, which we won't bring this podcast down with,
No.
I'm not in Dubai. So I was meant to be going to a wedding, so I'd taken this week off, not realizing when the wedding was booked that it was going to be the start of the school holiday. So that's the first annoyance. Because of that, then George took a cruise with Sooty. So George is doing Sooty on a cruise at the well, he will be next week. And then I took another job, which has also got cancelled. So as a consequence, I've got the quietest Easter I've ever had in my life. So if anybody's listening and
Nice.
wants to employ me for Easter,
Yeah.
phone up now. However, after Easter, we start to pick up again. So I've got We take, yeah, Cobs and Teacakes are going pretty much all over the country. We're doing lots of havens this year, which we've added to. So last year we did mainly Park Dean resorts. This year we're doing Haven, Park Dean resorts. We're doing the Unity group, so Breen, and there are other two they've got now. We're doing Flamingo Land. We're doing Seal Bay. We are doing Park Dean resorts as well. If I didn't say that, we've got a couple of away resorts in as well. Lions. So bear in mind, last year we started this and we only had Park Dean resorts. We're now doing pretty much most of the holiday parks,
Oh wow.
sort of the family-friendly holiday parks. We'd love to do a Warner's, but at the moment we're just mainly sticking to the family sort of holiday parks. We want to do cruise ships. That's our big thing.
Oh
Is
yeah.
we'd love to do some flyouts. But yeah, we'll be touring pretty much all over the country doing comedy and nonsense is what we like to call it. We do daft stuff. We do a bit of comedy magic. Um, we do all sorts of silliness, really, and we just wanted it to be old school, but a bit more modern. So we're doing proper
Yeah.
old school variety, but the way me and George would do it. So we're doing that all over the country. That's the plan, and then hopefully, fairly shortly after you hope. Oh, how long do you normally take to release this? Will you just
And this will be well. Yeah, so we're recording on Wednesday. This will be out on Friday.
on
This
oh,
coming Friday.
you don't edit it, do you? You just
And
put it
literally
out. Eh?
after we finish the recording, it takes about an hour for it all to download from Zoom. About 10 minutes to edit, and out another half an hour
Oh, he's
to
quick. He
put
doesn't mess
together.
around.
No,
He doesn't
no.
mess around as little George LG, by the way.
LG.
Because we had I explain this. I'm not just calling him little because we can. Um, so when we did Panther, we had George and we had George Akid. So we had little George and we had big George. So we had LGBG and we just needed the T and the Q, I always said. But yeah, so I'm not just calling him little George for the sake of it. Um, yeah, he's turning his podcast round quick. Or is it what's it classed as? It's not. Is it a podcast when you can see us?
Yeah, I think so. That's what
I thought,
everyone's been
didn't
calling
it
it.
just podcast where you listen?
A visual podcast.
As a visual podcast, because
Yeah.
this is going to make all the difference. People being able to see this. But yeah, hopefully the next few weeks I will be able to
Yeah.
say where I am going for Panto because I did 10 years of the Lichfield Garrick, and yeah, I'm moving on to somewhere new. I can't say where yet, but hopefully the next few weeks, I'll be able to tell you. I've got a photo shoot for it very, very soon. But I'm sticking with
Nice.
Evolution, Paul Hendy, and I will be going somewhere slightly different for Panto. But I'm going back to directing as well. So I haven't directed since I directed you in
Oh,
Snow
really?
White
Oh, wow.
Lichfield. So I get to
I put you
direct
off
again.
it.
You,
I put you
you
off it.
you put me off it, and
Yeah.
that they've lured me back in. So yeah, I'm going back to directing. I'm back in a frock, but somewhere new. So
Ooh.
come back and join us again soon, folks, and find out where.
I'm looking forward to finding out where you are because he won't tell me. I tried to get it out of him before we started recording and he wouldn't tell me.
Now he
I don't
thinks
know
I'm
why he wouldn't tell
stupid.
me.
Oh, what panto are you doing? Let's narrow it down.
No, but I will leave in the comments below, in the description below on YouTube. I will leave a link to your show that you are doing with George, so people
Yeah,
can
just
go
you
to
can
actually
search Cobs and
get
Teacake.
it.
We're on Instagram and Facebook, Cobs, because that's what I. What do you call that round piece of bread you
Yeah,
put
Cobb.
ham in?
It's Cobb.
A cob. Thank you,
Yeah.
George, in all his wisdom, other George, Big George, calls it a tea cake.
Weird. No,
Yeah,
it's a Cobb.
and I say, well,
Yeah,
that's what you toast with butter,
yeah.
and he said, no, that's a tea cake with currants. I'm going, you're just making it hard work for yourself. It's a cob. It's a ham
Yeah, it's a
cob.
Cobb. Yeah, it's like all the people that call it a balm or something like that. It's like, what are you on
Balm
about?
cake in Blackpool, yeah. I mean, depends
Yeah.
where you go. But the interesting thing is, we never actually once referenced that in our whole show.
Nice. I
Never
love it.
mentioned. It's just what we've gone with, and we're sticking with it.
So where else can people find you online? Like obviously you said about
You,
Cobs and
you could
Teacakes.
I'm the only one apparently. There's a couple of Samantha Raybones, I believe, but I am the only Sam Raybone, Rabone, like the metal ruler. If you're interested, apparently the Raybone ruler was a metal ruler. So yeah, Rabone. Just search me and you'll find me.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, OnlyFans. You do a lot, don't you? You know.
Well, for the right price, I will.
Sam, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really, really appreciate it. It'd be
The
great chatting. And
visual podcast.
the visual. I will a few of the first episodes we have got onto Spotify. I just need to work on getting the last few out. So
Ah,
eventually, at some
brilliant.
point,
Brilliant Swedish invention, Spotify. That's
oh,
an
I love it.
IKEA and meatballs. And the
In that
women.
order. Yeah.
No, the women might take over actually, but we won't go there.
Yeah, that's a question. Swedish Spotify or Swedish women?
Or Swedish vodka. Absolute vodka was made on a tiny little island off. Talk to Bob about this. He'll tell you all about this. But Bob's good on his Swedish knowledge. But yeah, Absolute vodka was made. I'm looking for it's over there. It was made on a tiny little island just off the coast of Stockholm because they made alcohol very expensive or illegal or something. So they just took it to a tiny little island and made it. This is like AMSR vodka. AMSR.
Yeah, that's a weird way for a podcast to finish, but we'll have it. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow us on our Instagrams, and please subscribe and follow us for future episodes. I will see you all soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.